Okay guys, I'm going to be bringing this video to y'all just because of the new user interface that has just recently come to Dayz, or I have just recently found out about. When you open doors, it tells you new things. Your stats are gone. You have to completely rely on what's in the bottom left. See, I ate too much, and now my guy is stuffed. But, yeah, I didn't realize that. So you need to completely rely on what the text tells you if you use this new interface. You don't need to use the new interface. And by how to use the new interface, you go into your Steam launch options and you type dash new UI, no spaces. The tab menu is a little trippy. Things are really small in the top left until you scroll over them. I mean, sometimes you can't even tell what they are. My biggest problem was loading my weapon. Now, you can't click it or anything, and it's all trippy and messed up, but you can put it away and get it to go away, okay? And then you can right click it and you can empty the bullets out of it and load ammo. It's not combine, and then you can move that around. Ammo numbers don't show up very well. It's very glitchy. I have about 30 of these. They don't really show up until you load the gun. Cooking pots are almost impossible to use. I fill mine with water because in .59 you can have about 4 water bottles worth of water in a cooking pot, but they're almost impossible to use. And one of my biggest problems was how to load ammo into your primary. Now, the way you put your primary in your hand is the way I just did. You just click it. It doesn't show up until you like drag it over here, and then it's still glitchy. You just put it in the empty slot. And now that you see I have 6 bullets, the way to load your gun, you can't have it out when you're loading it. You have to put it away. You don't need to split the ammo, but I'm just going to conserve ammo because I'm obviously really low. Then you just click and drag over it, and then you can chamber the most. And I struggled with that. I almost died because I couldn't figure out how to load my gun. But yeah, so ammo doesn't barely show up until you load it into your rifle, and when you do that, then it shows up. And like I said, the worst thing about this is your stats aren't here, so you need to go off by what's down here. And you're not going to be able to tell if you're hydrated or anything until it says that you're hungry or something. So that's very irritating. It doesn't give percentages unless you drag it over here. I assume, yeah, ammo. I just figured that out. Will tell you how much if you drag it onto your guy. And percentages as well. But, yeah, batteries are almost impossible to find, but they're possible now. And let me just see if I can... This is your hand slot, by the way, down here. It's not down here anymore. And I just want to see if I can... You can only put one thing in the cooking pot, I'm thinking. Oh yeah, double click something to fast put it in your hands. That's the thing now. And your hotbar is all right here. But it doesn't tell you on the lower part of your screen where your stuff is. And probably the biggest part, and the only reason I'm using the new eye, because you have the option not to use it if you don't want to, is the frame boost. Now obviously most of you already know where I am. I'm in Electro, and I'm only running an R9 280X, and I'm getting about 70 frames when I'm not recording, and right now I'm getting 30 frames. So, I used to get 10, maybe 15 if I'm lucky. And it was almost unplayable, and I had to stick to the forest because I couldn't play this. But from the new UI, you get a much better FPS increase. And the reason that you get this FPS increase is because when you switch it over, switches the game completely from CPU heavy to GPU heavy. And obviously my GPU is better than my CPU, so I get more frames. And this isn't the case for everybody. And obviously this isn't like a good as demonstration as like Wobo or somebody, and I suggest you go watch them because they probably have a video on this. But yeah, basically that is what is covered in the new update is the FPS. Is the only reason I'm using this. I prefer the other UI much better because I mean, obviously you can actually see things, but I mean, the FPS boost is just incredible. Like, I was playing this in Northwest earlier before I got down here, because I figured, why don't I just show you Electro, like the most unoptimized city in the entire game, right next to Novo. And nighttime has nothing to do with it. It was daytime earlier, and I was getting better frames at daytime than nighttime. So, yeah. It's just an incredible update in the new UI. And the only thing that really lets this down for me quite a bit is... Hey, another Mosin. Can I just put this on my back? Oh, yeah, I can. Okay. The only thing that's really a letdown is the inability to see your stats. That's, out of everything, that's pretty good. The FPS is a great trade-off for that, but in certain situations I could see where that would be very detrimental. And basically eating food is actually hard now because of the no stats. I mean, obviously you don't want to kill yourself by eating too much, like I almost did. In the bottom left you can see I ate way too much. And because I didn't see my stats right here. Because I'm just learning this, and I haven't watched any videos on it or anything, and I'm just going off of what I'm finding, because it's the way I like to do updates. But yeah, basically that's what this is going off of, is the new, the UI itself is absolutely garbage. I don't like it, it's not good. Finding a server, it doesn't even tell you how many players are on the server. I just had to put in max player 0 because I didn't want to get shot while I'm recording. But basically the new UI is absolutely horrible, god awful. Barely anybody actually enjoys using it. But it's all worth it for the frame boost. If you've played Dayz for long at all, you know that the frames are one of the most important things of this game, and nobody could ever get them. So that's gonna conclude this video.